The legal system in Night City varies significantly from our timeline. This process began following the collapse of the United States in 1996. As unemployment, homelessness, and corruption grew, irate citizens decided they would lynch thousands of criminal defense attorneys. This backlash against the judicial system was partly due to skyrocketing crime rates in the early 90s, which many viewed as evidence that the existing legal structure was no longer fit for purpose. Shortly afterwards, the government would declare martial law throughout the US for the next 3 years. The draconian standards imposed by the Military Justice Code restored order so effectively that the government established a uniform civilian justice code in its place. Although the law is now administered by civilian governments, the code is the guideline for all criminal procedure in the United States. Crimes defined as felonies and misdemeanors have disappeared and are now considered as priorities, ranging from 1 to 6. Priority 1 being crimes such as murder, while 6 is possessing stolen goods. The more serious the crime, the higher the priority, which can directly impact upon the rights of the individual as they are dependent on the nature of the crime committed. Low priority crimes are any crime with a ranking of 5 or 6. These crimes afford the perp the most rights. Individuals charged with a rank 5-6 crime have the right to secure a defense attorney. They are also allowed 2 phone calls and retain the right to remain silent. They must be given a preliminary hearing within 48 hours. Trials are presided over by a judge, human or in artificial intelligence, who sets fines and sentences. Mid-priority crimes are crimes with a ranking of 3 to 4. These crimes are serious and do not afford the perp many rights. The individual retains the right to remain silent and is still allowed to secure an attorney in their defense. They may be held for a week before a preliminary hearing, and during that time they may not contact anyone. No phone calls, no visitors. Most of this time is likely to be spent in holding cells and interrogation cubicles. At the trial, the perp is confronted by a panel of 3 judges. The prosecution makes its case, followed by the defense. A verdict is passed, and the individual is either freed or sentenced to one of many possible punishments. High priority crimes are crimes with a ranking of 2. The charged individual forgoes all rights, including the right to remain silent. Once charged, the perp may be forced to undergo interrogation under truth serums, lie detectors, psychological reality simulations, and analysis. The perp must be allowed a preliminary hearing within 2 weeks. At this time, the judge will determine the possibility of bail and set the date for a trial. The judge will also decide whether to allow the defendant a lawyer, depending upon whether the judge sees any ambiguity in the presented case. Anything more than a 20% margin of error, and the judge will allow a defense attorney. The trial is presided over by a judge and 4 AIs who will pass sentence. Top priority crimes are crimes ranking at 1. Once the individual is determined as the perpetrator, an execution order can be issued and the individual can be terminated by any authorized body. Thank you for chipping in.